Chapter 29, Krishna's Punk. Just before leaving for Vrindavan, Vic plans out the next year's activities. Interesting to me because he's never one to make much of plans. Maybe some of that youthful rebellious fever is calming. He wrote, "I'm planning my basic schedule for next year, and I had an idea that could coordinate with me getting to see you more often. I haven't spoken to anyone for advice and opinions yet, but the way it seems is this. After deliberation and advice, including yours, I want to keep 108 alive at a slightly less comatose pulse. I think that by coordinating and cooperating with Shelter, we can tour both bands at different times. This way, 108 could tour and record every year with only about 3 months of effort involved. What this means is I'll be going and coming between Philadelphia and Dallas every year. I'd really like to coordinate this with you guys also and wind up getting to see your smiling sourpuss faces. If you're into it, I could go to San Diego for a few days on the way from Dallas to Philly at the end of May, and also I can stop in for a few days from Philly to Dallas on my birthday. How's that grab you folks?" Sounds pretty good to us, but it didn't happen. When we returned from India, the powers that be decided that Shelter and 108 were going to hit the road for a long tour. The tour lasted for 5 months. They crisscrossed the U.S. and Europe. It must have been quite a burden on the bands. Touring sounds all glamorous, but I've seen their transports and accommodations and can testify that the tour life of a minor league band is not fun. Sure, the Rolling Stones go in style, but Shelter and 108 go on a shoestring and a lot of help from the local ISKCON temples. After all, they are missionaries spreading the word to the youth. To those most receptive of the seductive promise of a life without sin, a life above everything and everyone, a life without purpose and destination. Vic thought he was Krishna's punk when he really was ISKCON's puppet. When the tour was finally over in the fall of '93, Vic landed in Manhattan at 26 2nd Avenue. This is the storefront where Prabhupada started the Krishna movement. The storefront still bore the name of his previous occupant, Matchless Gifts. Ironic because those Christians always had an angle to make money. They are driven by a thirst for money despite their denial of it, despite calling it the root of all evil. They need the money for their devotional service, to build bigger and better and more temples. During a few months at the gift shop, 108 recorded songs of separation. Afterward, Vic moved on to the temple in Tawako, New Jersey. This temple was an old manor estate donated to the Krishnas and pressed into service as a temple, meeting place, and barracks. We followed the move with little enthusiasm. It was just one more stop in a long list. One good thing is that it's closer to New York than any of the other previous abodes. We'll probably be able to visit more often just by tacking a few days on whenever we go back to New York. When we made our first visit, we were roaming the countryside to find the temple. Without GPS or cell phone, we were pretty much on our own. The path required ducking under a rail line, something I didn't expect and which I missed on the first pass. Eventually, my map reading skills returned and we made it to the site. The temple was actually an older homestead up on a hill set in the countryside, peaceful. The house was spacious and obviously previously owned by someone of adequate means.